Well, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Awakening Potential Show, your gateway to the extraordinary. Now you get to hear how others have stepped up and stepped out so you can get to choose to ignite your own life into the extraordinary that's already within you because you were meant to be extraordinary. So today we're featuring Nanette Murphy, who has mastered turning everyday moments into milestones of wisdom around divorce and as a life transition coach for women who are going through that long, arduous journey as well. And it was painful. I've been there, I can attest to it. She's learned from her own experiences and learned to navigate through those healing processes, and now teaches others to navigate as they go through their own and adding on self-care, which is majorly important. So join us as we delve into her transformational journey and glean insights to elevate our own lives. Let's embark on this enlightening journey together. And a warm welcome to you, Nanette Murphy. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so very much for
Yeah.
having me. I'm always love being on platforms like this to really share my message with women. And like you said, we all have the potential to be extraordinary. We just have to allow ourselves to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what inspired me because I remember going through my own it took years to go through it, and a lot of stress, a lot of cost. And it was just not just at the impact of myself, but my children, our children. And we often forget that there's a cause and effect aspect to it, and our health usually
Oh,
suffers. And I know for myself, I can only talk from my own experiences, and I'm sure you'll delve into it more, but my adrenals started failing as a result of mine to the point where I've got long, thick hair and it was coming out in clumps. So
yeah.
I'm sure when you get into self-care, the health care aspect of it, I wish I would have known that back then. But tell me, what started your journey? I mean, obviously your own divorce, but what was going on before all of that? Like way before you got married, that brought you to where you are today.
Oh gosh, way before I got married. Goodness, I was just a young, foolish woman in my 20s. Met my first husband. I was 18 years old. You date for years, and he was in school and we marry. And I was, at the time I worked at an advertising agency, and I really aspired to be a mother. I wanted to be a mom and raise my children. I was fortunate enough that my ex-husband, their dad, was able to, he worked, I stayed home with the kids. It worked out fine. Everyone was happy. So, but we did a lot. I mean, we did so much, built businesses together and had children, and we moved across the country. Born and raised in Canada, moved
Okay.
our family to Michigan, went from Michigan to California and come back to Michigan. Like, we just had a busy life.
Mhm.
3 children. Ex-husband built a business in the dot-com era. Remember back in the 90s?
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
they survived. So it was really a wonderful life we were living
Yeah.
until
Nice. Very
until
cool. Very cool. And I'm willing to bet, because we can't be that far apart, I'm
yeah.
willing to bet you went into it thinking it was going to be forever, right?
Oh,
Once I said
absolutely.
yes, I was like, this is it, right? I had no other. So what was the experience after that? I mean, obviously you went through whatever you went through, and
Oh, so you mean the experience after divorce?
well, you went through a transition, which got you to where you
Oh,
were
yeah.
today.
That
Yeah.
transition, man, oof, are there no words for it? You get blindsided, you get sucker
Yeah.
punched, you feel like I say my world shattered
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
completely. I would say that my heart, I wrote about this, that my heart was ripped into papers and shredded, and that tornado came through, and I wasn't sure if there was anything left.
It's so
But
funny you say tornado, because that's what exactly how I described it.
it is. It's like
Yeah.
a tornado,
Yeah.
and you're spinning, and you
Mhm.
really don't have time to really think clearly. And clearly made it through the divorce. But the one thing that I did focus on was my self-care. I
Nice.
always made sure, I went to the gym, so I always say I stepped it up a notch, and I really tried to really focus on taking care of my my personal health.
Mhm.
Um, but then, you realize like, oh my gosh, but now what? Your kids are old enough to had moved out. It was such a transition. You're teenagers, young adults. You think you're heading towards retirement in a future, and then no, you're not. So there's just, there's so many moments of disillusion.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're trying so hard to hang on to the past, and
Exactly.
you have to let go. So it's that transition it's painful. It's really painful. Um, and so interestingly enough, I kind of as an aside, I have a rebuilding program, and I'm certified in it. And there's 19 rebuilding steps. And I remember after taking this course, I said to the instructor, I'm like, I went through all of these 19 steps, but by myself.
Mhm.
So it was always like one step forward, two steps back. And I
Exactly.
have clients that say that, and all I can do is go, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm,
What I always say, we're not meant to do this alone. I too did it by myself. And I
mhm,
was scrambling and scrambling until I said, I can't do this anymore. You know,
mhm.
you know,
Well, I never had help. I didn't know. I mean, I saw a counselor, and she was wonderful, but
yeah,
it was more dealing with um, the ex and your kids, and it wasn't the process of divorce. No one tells you that your emotions will be kicked and stomped, and most days you won't even know which end is up. Nobody tells
exactly.
you that. And I, well, since learned, I say it's an emotional journey more than it is a legal battle.
Absolutely.
It's good. The legal side of it has to be taken care of no matter what.
Right.
But it's your emotions that just um it's that brain, the divorce brain fog.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a perfect description of it. I remember, and I was actually very blessed because for me, everything is a learning experience, and there's always a silver lining in it, no matter how much it sucks when you're going through it. But I remember very vividly, I was living a life of victimhood. And oh my God, the sky is falling. Who's going to want me with three kids? And how am I going to rebuild my life? And da da da, and on and on and on. And I remember my paralegal Cliff saying to me, Karen, you're not the first one to go through it. You're not going to be the last one to go through it. And you can bitch and moan at me all day, but it's costing you. And I just remember getting still and saying, oh, and then he gave me the best advice. The best advice. He said, go into the courtroom and go sit in on your judge's, what he was doing, another divorce case, and think of him as a person sitting on the throne brushing his teeth. And I went in there, and of course I'm like, what do you you'll get a kick out of this one. I remember sitting there in the back of the room, and all of a sudden I cracked up laughing. And he stopped and he was like doing his thing, and he stopped and he looked at me. He goes, is everything okay? And I'm like, oh, da, 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 da," and I was so nervous.
Hysterical.
But I remember looking at him as a person for the first time. I thought this is the man that's going to wave his magic wand and life is over, man. It's all whatever he says goes. And,
Right.
what about me and my children? But it was the catalyst that really changed, had me step into what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
So I'm asserting very similarly for you.
Yes, yes,
And
because I wish it was in 2020 is kind of when I started my journey of becoming a life coach and health coach.
okay.
I
Yeah.
always say that it was after a few weeks of COVID, I realized that I couldn't take any more of Netflix and banana bread. I had to do something really functional. Like I had to do something. And
Right.
that's where it started. I started taking a free online course called The Science of Wellbeing. And
Mhm.
that was truly my platform that
Mhm.
I just leaped off of it. And everything that has come in my path since then, I believe has come for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it was in 2021, I think, when I was introduced to divorce coaching. I didn't even know it existed.
Right.
And I thought, oh my gosh, why don't more people know about this?
Mhm.
And that's again why I became, and specifically now, coaching women, they've been married for years. They thought they had their life figured out and what direction it was going in. And then the carpet gets pulled out from underneath you and you have to switch gears. And it's getting out of that denial stage into the okay, I need to figure this out stage. That's probably that toughest transition
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
to say, yeah, this I sat there for probably 2 years in denial, trying to save my marriage and figure that out. And but I learned that if you're both not working at it, then there's no point. You
Yeah.
just throw in the towel because you're just going to waste a whole lot of time.
And money.
And oh my gosh, and money. And that's what I see.
Yeah.
I mean, of course we need our attorneys, but I tell my clients when we're in a session and they start to cry, I'm like, go ahead. You need 5 minutes to cry. Go ahead. That's why you're here with me, so that you can get all that emotion out, so that we
Exactly.
can, get down to business. And then when you are with your attorney, you're like, facts. It's just like you're said, it's costing you a lot of money to be emotional in front of me.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
and it's
That
not
was a
worth
little
it.
lesson. That was a learning lesson. And that skill set, actually, Nanette, really supported me through life and through business because I do, like you, I'm a coach. And I originally started out, oh, I'm going to be a divorce coach because that's what I know now, you know? And
Mhm.
it's just interesting how life will shift. But I always learn from that those sessions with my paralegal Cliff, and I'm so grateful for that man because
Mhm.
I learned to be concise, clear, concise communication.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it really took me far. So yeah, thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, Cliff. Yes. Yeah, and interesting you say that you started off as a divorce coach. I am now actually probably in the new year, I'm going to be transitioning into more of a relationship coach
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
than just a divorce coach, because as a side note, ironically, I've just this past year became certified or ordained, I guess is the word, to officiate weddings.
Oh,
So,
congratulations.
so
Yep,
people,
I got that
people,
route.
yeah, people kind of laugh that it's the whole gamut. I'm like, yes, because ultimately I'm not an advocate of divorce.
No,
I'm an advocate of knowledge and preparation.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have to know what you're getting into. Much like when you get married, like don't walk into it all hearts and flowers, because you'll probably get disappointed somewhere along the line.
And that's why I stepped into communication,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't know how to communicate.
Mm-mm.
And it's a learning process. It's not like we're taught in school your grammar and your, adjectives and verbs and so on and so forth. Communication is an art. And when you communicate with yourself, because coming from a nursing background, mine is all around communicating health and well-being and and really stepping into your authentic self.
Mm.
When you're really living your authentic life, I believe, and it seems to me that you're living your truth, you're able to articulate it clearly without one worrying what other people are going to think, or, oh, did I say it right? Or, it's not about other people's emotions, right?
Right.
It's about yours and you protecting yours, and they're going to deal with theirs the way they are meant to deal with it. And it doesn't always look pretty, sadly, because they just haven't learned. So,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And I
So,
mean, for me specifically, and I think there's a lot of women our age who come into their own
yeah,
later in life and really, they may have been professions and all that, but to really, like you said, come into your own, embrace who you are, and be unapologetic for it.
absolutely. That's the key.
and not
Yes.
and not well, okay, well, I might have said something, but you get the base of what I'm saying, and I am who I am, and I'm going
Yep.
to help you as much as I can. But that's the other thing too, as coaches, as you must know, if you're not willing to do the work,
Mhm.
there's not much I can do for you. You have,
Exactly.
you have to
There has
trust
to
the
be.
process. You have to listen, to really, really want to be coached through this, because otherwise it's just going to keep being painful.
Exactly. There's a
Yeah.
willingness and it's not easy.
Mm-mm. Oh,
It's easy.
no.
The other side is beautiful. You
Oh,
can tell by your smile on your face. Smile on my face,
absolutely.
we get through it, right?
Absolutely. What I always say is I used to fear the future. I mean, I was terrified, but now it excites me. I mean, I just don't know what's around the corner, and I'm always trying to live a full life, personal side, family. I love to travel and do that. But I also want to introduce that into my coaching business to share with the women that if you allow yourself to grow and be open and learn, it the potential is endless, truly.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. So
yeah,
you said I was going to ask you what's next for you, but you already talked about relationship. I'm so excited for you for that because that lights me up. And
yeah.
it's not just romantic relationship, right?
No, no, it's
Oh,
not.
let's talk more about that.
Yeah, well, so what's led me into that is I just completed um vision board training. I've literally been certified to do
Yeah.
vision boards, and I've learned so much about them that they're not just a collage full of pictures that make you feel good.
No,
There is such a science behind it.
absolutely.
And doing a power word mini vision board tomorrow to a small group of people in a chiropractic office. And I'm just really excited to share it with people that, and it's not, again, it's a process to find your word. There's nothing, you don't have to be crafty or creative. But in this program that I took, I can also introduce, I mean, we'll do the full vision board. It's like a 6 hour day. It's a full day. But also there's one, it's for newly engaged couples
Oh,
that they can create a vision board together, or a couple's date night. So there's so many other things that it can open up the horizon to, and that's when it kind of led me that it's more of a relationship coaching.
yeah. And it
Oh,
doesn't, you're not doing divorce any longer. It's just you're expanding into
abs
who you're becoming.
abs
It's beautiful.
absolutely,
Love that. Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, that's the fun part for the next I guess for 2025.
That's exciting. I'm really excited. I used to do my vision boards. It was 3 days. It was 2 hours each day, and I did it inside a church.
Oh, okay.
Rented a room and did it in the church. And what a mess. You
Yeah.
know, I think everybody would leave and I'd be go, and then I learned to, okay, we're all in this together. Let's all clean up and leave the church well.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. And it's a process. It is a process. And I liked spreading it out so this way they could process it
Yes.
and digest it and so on and so forth.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I do my own vision board every year, right before New Year's. I
Yeah.
create my year, and I remember looking at it one year because it was in my office, and I live in Florida with the hurricanes,
Uh,
and it came down off the wall because I had damaged the wall, and I turned it around and looked at it, and I was like, oh my God, because the vision, will tap into on neuro, it gets into neuroscience, but
yes.
you create new neural pathways that way. And
Yes.
not only are you creating new neural pathways, but you're also instructing your brain and rebooting your brain to start looking for those things in that neural path.
Absolutely.
So it definitely works.
Yes.
Word creates reality, what you're speaking into, all of
Yes.
that energy, frequency, and vibration. So I love what you're up to. I know we talked earlier, you have a gift for the audience, and all of your contact information will be in the show notes. But tell us about your Start With You ebook that you're offering to our listeners.
Yeah, I've actually created it early, a few years ago, but it's never redundant.
Mhm.
It's seriously, it's called Start With You and then work on everything else. And especially with women who are taking that step towards divorce, that's one of the first things I ask them is, what are you doing for you? And that's what this book covers.
Love
It
it.
covers just everything from your eating, your working out, and when I say working out, I don't mean going to the gym and pump an iron. Go for a walk, get out into nature, get up in the morning and stretch. So that's what this book does. And it just gives people ideas on how to get through that healing process. Because there's many levels of it, volunteering is a beautiful way to heal your heart. So that's what this book entails.
Love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
So as we get ready to close this conversation, and I thank you once
Yes.
more, what is one pearl of, I call them pearls of wisdom. What is one really profound pearl of wisdom that you'd like to leave the listening audience with?
Oh, I think it's gosh, there's so many. How many? How about a strand of pearls? No, a pearl of wisdom. Um, don't sell yourself short. Never think of yourself as not being capable, because we are capable of way more than we give ourselves credit for. So
Absolutely.
really pause and get that self denial out of the way. Believe in yourself. Actually, there's a formula that I was just doing in a vision board is ask, believe, and receive.
Absolutely.
You are capable, so don't sell yourself short.
Absolutely. Beautiful words. Yeah. Beautiful words to live by.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
You're welcome, Karen. Thank you.
Congratulations and uh, moving forward and expanding in such a great capacity. Well, what's we needed in the world today. So,
Yeah.
everybody does it differently. I think it's perfect, and I love what you're doing and what you're about. And thank you so much for your contributions and being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate the opportunity.
It's our pleasure.
Yes.
For our listening audience, thank you for joining us on the Awakening Potential Show. And as you step back into your world, remember the bridge from ordinary to extraordinary is built with small steps of change and big leaps of faith. So let the insights from Nanette Murphy today be your guiding light as you navigate your own journey. And remember, you were born to be different, so make a difference and let your light shine. Until next time, awaken your potential and illuminate the world with your extraordinary gifts. Stay inspired.